These fall decor are so trendy and so cute. I know you're going to love. So let's get started. We are going to start here in my garage, and I am going to take some of these scrap wood pieces that I have had for a while. They're different lengths, different shapes, but we are going to use several of them. All right, so what I am going to be making is a kind of like a planked style vertical sign for fall, and I wanted to have different style, different thickness, and different textures of wood. So I just went and grabbed just some scrap pieces that I had left over of wood. They're all about the same thickness, which is okay, but I want them to have a different thickness going this way, as well as different textures. So I also got this one. It's a little bit different. It's rounded, but we're gonna cut them to different lengths. And once I had them cut to the length that I wanted, I am now going to just stagger them in whatever pattern I want, whatever seems and feels right to me and what I'm looking for, I guess. And then once I have them, I am going to start painting them. We are going to paint them in multiple colors, and my inspiration for it is this fabric that we are going to be using in a little bit. But I got that at Hobby Lobby, and I just love the colors. It had a very trendy kind of fall theme color, so I am going to, that's my inspiration. So I am going to paint two of them white. I'm not looking for perfection because we are going to be distressing them pretty heavily, so I'm not looking for everything to have full coverage. The other colors, I'm going to go with this yellow by Rust-Oleum milk paint, and I'm also going to use a DIY paint by Debbie's Design Diary and the Apothecary. I'm also going to use a green color by Dixie Belle. And then lastly, I am going to use an amber tone color by Artisa. It's a latex color, but it ended up distressing pretty well, so I was happy with it. So I'm just going to, again, just continue to paint here and let it fully dry. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to distress these pieces pretty heavily, so I am using my palm sander and a 50 grit, not a 50, a 150 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go about and just distressing all the boards. You can go as little or as much as you want, or you can leave them just as they were. It's no right or wrong way. I just like the distressed look for this particular design. So I'm going to distress all of them, focusing mainly on the edges as well as a little bit in the center. Once they were distressed, I just dusted them off, then flipped them over, and then I just kind of staggered them or kind of spread them as far left and right as I wanted them to go. And then I am going to use two of those larger paint sticks, and I'm going to cut the excess of them off, and then I'm going to brad nail them in place. Using my Cricut, I cut out the phrase, "There is always something to be grateful for." I got inspired by one that I saw on Pinterest, and I thought that is perfect for this sign. So I'm going to use some transfer tape here that I get on Amazon. I do have it linked down below. Actually, a lot of the supplies that I use on my videos, paint, vinyl, cutting tools, my power tools, I have a lot of them in my Amazon store, so check them out. I do have my Amazon store linked down below. So I'm just going to keep transferring the words to each plank, And then we're going to get to adding some screws to the back so that we can hang it. I decided to keep it simple. I added a couple screws to the back, and then I'm going to add some wire and twist it around each screw, and that way we can hang it on the wall if needed. And that's it for this one, guys. It turned out so beautiful. It's actually one of my favorites from today. I love the colors. I love how fall it is, but yet it has just these beautiful trendy colors that I really, really am digging right now. Alright, for this next one, we are going to quickly grab here this little thrift wood that I was kind of cleaning, not too much, guys, but sort of kind of organized in our garage. And I found those thrift woods, and so I picked one of them, and I'm going to cut a piece off of it. Now I am going to take some of that fabric that I showed you earlier. That was the whole inspiration for today's video. I'm going to cut out a piece. I didn't measure it. I just kind of eyed it out. But if I were to measure it, I would say it's about an 18 by 24 inch. But give or take depending. We're just going to make a very simple fabric pumpkin. I'm sure you've seen a million of these versions being made on YouTube and other media, but I decided to make my own, and hopefully it's a little different that can inspire you. So I'm just going to take some of that pillow stuffing. I usually have a Walmart pillow. They're like $3, and I usually have one in my home specifically where I can just take some of the stuffing out as needed. And I'm going to start wrapping the fabric around, right? You know what I'm talking about. Just wrap around, making sure that any of the smaller edges are tucked in into the larger ones so they don't stick out. Now with this one, I don't know why it took me so long to make. I have made so many of these pumpkins, and for some reason I could not get a handle on this one. But nonetheless, I figured it out, and then once I had it tucked in where I wanted, I took some jute twine and I tied it on the center there, on the top, with a simple knot. And then I cut off the excess on top. Now, after I cut off the excess, I realized I never put in my thrift wood in. So then I cut the jute twine off again. This time I'm kind of freaking out because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if I let go of these little tiny pieces of fabric on top, but I figured it out. So I'm going to stick the driftwood right in there, and then I am going to tie everything nicely tight. That way it's not going to come off. Now, if some of the little edges come off, don't stress about it. You can always hot glue it neatly on the sides and it should be fine. But in my case, it actually worked out. But it was truly a miracle because I was struggling with this. So once I had it tight with a knot, again, a very simple knot, I decided to just take some more jute twine and just make a multiple loop bow with it. I just wrap it around my fingers, scrunch it in the middle, take another piece of jute twine, tie it around the middle, and that's it. And then once I had it all done, it was time to then hot glue it to the front of the pumpkin. And I did cut off the excess jute strings that are just laying around there. And that's it for this one, guys. Ooh, this one is definitely one of my favorites. I love this fabric. I love the colors. And again, it was the inspiration for my whole video today. But let me know what you think of this little pumpkin. Oh, I love it. For this next DIY, we are going to take some of these magnolia leaves that I got at the Dollar General. They were only $2 picks, and the bigger one was $2, and then the other one was $2 too, but it was a leftover piece from another project. I am not going to take this Dollar Tree pick that I recently got in their fall section. I'm just going to fan it out, spread it out, and place it right on top of the magnolia leaves. And then I'm going to take this little pick with little pumpkins, again from the Dollar Tree, fan it out, place it on top, and the same with these orange florals. This is a very easy arrangement that we're going to make. You can place on anywhere, really any wall, or even the front door instead of a wreath. I think it will look really beautiful, and it's really easy. I'm showing you a very simple way that you can do it. So once I had all the picks laying right on top of each other, right now I'm just kind of threading several picks, like little branches, to come forward and then back, just to kind of make it look a little bit more natural. Once I had it where I want it, I'm going to take more jute twine and I'm going to tie the stems together. And then I'm going to take some burlap ribbon from Burlap Ribbon. Let's see, burlap fabric. Is it burlapfabric.com? Yes. Anyways, this is burlap ribbon, and I'm going to do multiple loops and then cut it out. And then I'm just going to scrunch it in the middle and tie it with some jute twine. Once I have it tied in the back, then I am going to wrap it around the stems and tie it to the stems. And that way it's just nice and secure. I thought about hot gluing it, but it's better when you're working with stems to just tie it in the back. And then once I had it tied in the back, it was time to add some of that fabric again. The fabric that the whole inspiration fabric, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to cut a piece off of it. You see, it's just like a little rectangle. I'm going to fold it until I have about 8 or 9 inches wide. And then I am going to scrunch it in the middle and tie it with jute twine. And that's so that we can create a little bow, but have the fabric tones. I want all these DIYs to kind of go together and like they belong to each other, like they're a set. Once I have it where I want it, now I'm going to, once again, with the excess jute twine, string it in through the flowers and then tie it in the back with a simple knot. I'm going to arrange the bows just so that they look nicely and neat. Then I'm going to take more of that thicker jute twine and wrap it around a few times. And once again, I'm going to make a very simple multiple loop bow, tie it in the middle with some jute twine, and hot glue it to the front of the fabric bow. This is just going to finish it off and look very, very cute. Just add some more layers. And then I decided there was something missing right underneath the bows. So that little empty area in the front. So I cut out these 2 picks from a Dollar Tree pick, and I'm going to just slide them in there. I'm not even going to hot glue, just going to slide them in all the way in as far as I want. And that way it just fills in that little area there. And then to finish everything off, I am going to cut the excess stems just so they're still showing, but just so they are all the same size. And look how cute this little swag is. I love it. It's actually a pretty good size. Most of the items are from the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General. And of course, you can use any ribbon that you may have on hand, and it's perfect for any fall decor. For this next DIY, we are going to take some more of this wood that I have on hand. This is a 1x3, a 1x4, and a 1x6. And we are going to start cutting them all about 9 inches, maybe about 10 inches. The larger one is about 10 inches. And then the medium-sized one was about an inch smaller, and then the smaller one about an inch smaller than that. So then I'm going to cut off an angled cut. This is like a 45 angle cut to each end, only on the top of the board. So this is what we're looking. They look like little tiny houses. We are going to paint the larger one in the same Rust-Oleum yellow that I used earlier, and only give it 1 coat this time. The middle one, the medium-sized one, is going to be stained using some Waverly antiquing wax. And I'm just going to brush it on and wipe off the excess. And then the smaller one is going to be painted once again with the Apothecary color by DIY Paint. And I'm going to let them fully dry. Once they're dry, we are going to be distressing them once again using my palm sander. I want to take a minute here and ask that if you are enjoying and liking this video, give me a thumbs up. Giving me a thumbs up on my videos help the video reach more people and helps my channel grow. So I really, I would appreciate if you did that for me. And now we are going to just stack them on top of each other, larger to smallest one. And we are going to secure them using brad nails in the 1-inch. And I'm going to place them right in the center so you don't see them on the middle one. Now on the top one, we are going to brad nail them in each corner. That way it looks a little bit neater and more unified. But I don't mind seeing those brad nails. And then once we had them secured, it's time to drill a hole on the larger one. So just on the top one, or the larger one on the top. And I am going to place some hot glue right inside the hole, and then one of these skewers sticks right in there, and then we are going to cut, leaving about 1 inch on top. Then we're going to take another piece of that driftwood that we used earlier in the pumpkin. We are going to drill a hole on that one as well, put in some hot glue, and then stick it in right in the stick right there. And then that way it's nicely secure and it's not going to come off. We're going to make like a little 3D pumpkin. Now we're going to take some of that thicker jute twine, tie it around the stem. Again, make a multiple loop simple bow, tie it in the center with some jute twine, and hot glue it to the front of the little stem there. And then I decided to take some greenery from, I don't know what it was. I think it was just from greenery that it fell off of another pick. And I'm just going to pull a couple of the green stems there, and I'm just going to hot glue them and place them in right up behind the bow, kind of just sticking out through the back. And I'm going to do that on the other side. And then once I have that all glued on there, that's it. We're done. I guess I could have added a lot more, but I always tend to go on the simple side, and I just think this 3D pumpkin turned out stunning. What a way to add more texture and just another piece of decor with the same colors that we've been working with. Look how beautiful it looks there with the other fabric pumpkin. I just love it. But let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, and do you like these combination of colors for fall? I know it's different. We're adding a little bit of greens and blues, but let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. But this is it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I do have a playlist here with tons more of inspiration for you. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.